Hello and welcome back to the Winter Fairy Journal. Thank you for joining me here today. Today we will be making the cover. So I am just going to go right into it. One thing I did want to show you is on the waterfall I did add a little charm to my tab. So it's these new charms that I got that are like nail charms. They're really cute and very inexpensive, only about, I think I paid $3.50 for them on Amazon for a pack of 60. So I will have these listed in my description if you would like to get those. That was just a quick side note. So now, how we will be measuring our journal, you could follow along with my measurements if you want to, but your journal might be bigger or smaller than mine depending on what decorations you used. So how I measure my journal is I put it against each other, I give it a little squish, and then I measure it. So mine comes out to about 6.5 centimeters in width. And then my height, I did make these measurements earlier as well, but this is just to show you, it's about, I'm gonna make it 17 centimeters. And then my width, I came out to about 13, just to cover the edges nicely. So I've already cut out my chipboard pieces. You didn't have to use chipboard for this if you didn't have any. You could use cardstock, maybe layers of cardstock, or macaroni box or a cereal box or anything like that, just whatever you have. So these are my pieces. Here I did write the measurements in centimeters and inches. This is the spine piece, and then this is the measurements for this the front and back covers. So I have two pieces of fabric here. This will be for the inside of the cover and this will be for the outside of the cover. You do not have to use fabric, you could use paper as well. I just like using fabric. And then I will also be using these adhesive sheets that I also have listed in my description, but I will be using my scraps this time because I'll be making the cover a bit differently than I normally do. So all that, oh, and how I'm going to make the cover is I'm going to cover the inside first, the inside of the book first, this part, and then I will cover the outside, so the inside will kind of fold over. And this time I will be applying my adhesive sheets to the chipboard and not to the fabric. I'm just going to do this part, or I'll see which parts I'll speed up, but yeah, I'll let you know, or you'll see. I'm just going to cover this off camera. Okay, my adhesive sheets are applied only to the one side for now, and as you can see it's quite the collage, but at least I'll be able to use up some of my scraps now. I'm just going to remove the top layer of the adhesive sheets. I'm just going to take my two side pieces away now, and be careful to not let anything attach to that adhesive side because it doesn't come off. It's only a one-shot chance with these. Now I'm going to take the piece that I'll use for the inside of my cover and just turn it upside down so that the side you want showing is at the bottom. Then I'm going to take my spine piece and just lay it in the middle. Then I'll take one of my side pieces, lay it perfectly on top of the spine piece, and then just put the fabric over. And then we're going to do the same with the other side. Then I'm just going to trim that there's about an inch or half an inch to an inch around the border. And then I'm just going to glue these edges down. I'm just going to let this dry a little bit and then I'll be back so we can do the outside cover. Now that my glue is completely dry, I'm going to attach the fabric on the outside, so it will look like this basically. So this will be the outside and then this will be the inside. But the reason I folded the inside fabric covers around because I'm just going to glue it down and then trim around the edges. So the piece of fabric that I used, I trimmed it so it's just slightly bigger than the cover itself, although I will be trimming it down more once the glue is dry. What I'll do first is I'm going to attach glue to the middle and these inside edges so that it can all adhere well. Then I'm going to stick it onto my fabric, put glue on the one side, put it onto fabric, and then put glue on the other side and put it onto the fabric. Then just clip the edges. I quite like how this looks. I can just feel that the glue isn't completely dry yet, so I'm going to clip it again and then just let it dry overnight. My cover is completely dry now, so this is what it looks like on the inside once I get all the little fragments out. So this is the inside and then the outside, which I love. One thing I did is I inked lightly around the edges. You do not have to ink on fabric if you don't want to. I just love the look. I also inked around the sides as well, along the spine piece. And then I also trimmed these edges off nicely. It will unravel a bit, but I do like that look for this one. I am perfectly fine with that happening. It will only unravel so far until the glue edge, so it won't go too far. What I will be doing now is I'm going to sew in my signatures off camera. Wait, let me get my signatures. Here they are. So this is what it will look like. And I just love that so much. I think that looks super cool and I'm really excited for how it will look at the end. So it does pop open a bit, but it will have a nice and sturdy closure. And then we still have these two pieces as well. So this one I would like to add on the inside cover and this one on the back. So I'll probably just make some lace pockets maybe. I think that'll look really sweet. Maybe like that. So yeah, that is something I will also do. So yeah, I will sew my signatures in off camera. I do have another tutorial where I show you how to sew in signatures, but it's just a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. There's a lot of tutorials about that available, though I will link the one that I have as well. And then I will be back to decorate the cover. I also have this little piece of lace that I'm going to be using as a fly page. So this is the top part. So I'm going to turn it upside down so that if you open your journal, you will take this off first. And then all I'm going to do with that is I'm going to glue this part down. I'm going to attach glue to the spine part and then glue it down, and then sew straight through that once I'm sewing in my signatures. All right, my signatures are all sewn in. This is what it looks like with the little lace fly page. This journal is absolutely huge, way bigger than I planned. But if I squish it, it's less, but like it just pops open. So it does compress a bit after a while, after it's been closed though. I have noticed that with some of the journals I've had for a while. If it's shut for a bit, it doesn't explode as much and it flattens out a little bit, so that's great. There's my signatures, and then down here, these are the dangles that I put on the journal bindings. Don't know how well you can see that, and I can open it up and show you. There, I have 2 blue metallic pearls on there, and then on the other one, there's some bellflower beads with pearls in them. Then on the last one is blue lace agate stones. I included some of them as dangles as well. So that is our journal. Here in the front cover, on the inside of the front cover, I'm going to add this lace pocket for this part. And then in the back, I'm going to add another lace pocket for our writing board. So I'll just be fast forwarding this bit. These pockets are all dry now, so that's what that one looks like. And then on the other side, that's what that one looks like. So I quite like that. We are going to start to decorate the cover now. I have a few things that I'll be using and I'll show you them now. I have some strips of lace here. And then I have this flower applique that I got off of Temu. And then I have a few other ones of those as well. I think like 4 maybe. Then I also have this piece of lace that I got off of a skirt at a thrift store that I'll be using on the spine. And then I will be using this. So it's a resin frame, and then I just stamped on some fabric and glued it down. So that comes from this. I recently bought this. I think it was 15 in a pack or 12 in a pack for maybe $15 on Amazon. And I have this little doily that I'll be using, as well as this little applique flower or doily. I'm not sure what you would call that, but I also got that on Temu. And then as well, I have a few little bits and pieces here. So I have some paper flowers that I got at Hobby Lobby. This beautiful brooch that I also got on Amazon. And then some buttons that I also used in the clusters, and I just sewed some embroidery thread through them and just tied a knot in the back. And then I also have these pearls that I took off of the clusters. There's snowflake, applique flowers at the clusters in the start, and I just stuck the flat back pearls on, but I kept these because I thought they might be nice to use on the cover. So this lace I got off of Amazon, these brooches, and these frames. So I will link all of them, as well as the Chicago screws that I'll be using for the closure. I will link all of them on in my description. They will be with my normal list of supplies, but I will also put them directly like below the little message that I always put to tell you what this will be about, just so you can get them quite easily if you would like to get them. So I'm just going to lay everything out now the way I want, and then just to show you what my idea is. But hold on, well, I can just get rid of these things, but I'm going to do these sides first because I want to lay 2 pieces of lace here, and then I'm going to be screwing my Chicago screws in because I'll be having an elastic closure, because I want the journal to be closed while I decorate the cover and the spine, just to make it a bit easier to decorate, and then I'll decorate the rest. But I'll show you first what I have in mind for this. So basically my idea is to lay these pieces of lace so that that little trim sticks over the edge. Same on this side. Or well, that one I was going to use on the inside. And then let this slightly go over the spine of the journal. This lace I did coffee stain, it came white, but I prefer to buy it in white so I can coffee stain and dye it to whichever colors I want it to be. So that'll be the first layer. And then this one I want to go over the spine. I will hide the sewing of the signatures. I'm gonna put this in the middle. Then my little doily here with a flower. So this will be on the back. And then now I'm just going to play around with things and lay them down. So this is basically the idea I have for it. And then these little pearls I will just put wherever they seem nice, but I'm not going to put them all in now because the spine or the journal is uneven, so they'll just roll right off. Okay, so I'm going to start by putting just these 2 pieces on. I'm going to take everything off now again. If you are decorating your cover like this, I would recommend that you take a picture at this point so you can remember, because I never remember. You don't have to, you don't want it, it's just something that I like to do. And then I'm going to put my Chicago screws in on these 2 points over here, because I will be attaching elastic to this one so it can just hook over. So how I do that is I just take my awl, I push a hole through, and then I attach the screw on the other side with the star screwdriver. So I will just fast forward this next bit. There we go. So this is quite a sturdy closure, so it won't break. Now I have some elastic lace that I just got off of Shane. So I'm just going to try and measure about how much I'll need to close this nicely. I think this will be good. I don't want it to open too much though, so maybe I'll do it just a bit tighter. Yeah. So this is about how long that was. Then I'm just going to do it a little bit shorter, like maybe a centimeter shorter. Now I'm just going to take my embroidery thread that I already have here and just sew these two edges together. Here's the sewing done. You do not have to use embroidery thread. I just had it out because I used embroidery thread to sew in these buttons. But it doesn't really matter how this looks because you won't even be able to see it. So now you're also going to need a piece of ribbon. And then just tie a double knot around the ribbon, around the piece of lace here. I'm just, before I tie it closed, I'm just going to put a dot of glue there, fabric glue, so they can just hold it in place. Like so. Then I'm going to turn this around so I'm working on the back, in the back cover. I am going to tie it on this side with a double knot and then tie it again on the other side and make a bow. And also put a little bit of glue in there as well on this side so they can hold it shut. I think that looks really sweet. I'm going to start decorating the rest of the cover now, and I'll just be fast forwarding this part as well. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that you've been enjoying the series so far. This will be it for today. I'm going to leave this to dry, and then I will be back next week with the flip through. I will probably make a soft cover for this journal as well, just to protect all these bits on here and on the spine. I wouldn't want it to get damaged. I just don't have an easy way to record that, so I can't do that on camera because I can't film with my sewing machine. So yeah, just let me know if you would like me to do a separate video on how to make a soft cover, and I can try and figure out a way to do that. But thank you very much for being here with me today. I hope you have a wonderful day and God bless. Bye bye.